Hey guys, welcome back to The Mind of Brandon. Today we're going to be talking about the Flat-Earth Furor. Now this is a viewer requested video. I have been asked to talk about this subject, and I thought it was a great idea because I have noticed in recent months that there does seem to be an increasing amount of people coming on YouTube relaying this conspiracy theory that NASA has been lying to people about the shape of the Earth. Those space photos that show a spheroid Earth, well, those are hoaxes. They're fakes! That's not what the Earth actually looks like. In fact, space itself is not what we generally perceive it to be, nor are any of the stars or any of the other planets. We've never had any robots on Mars or any moon landings. That's all lies, right? It's all just part of NASA's scam. It's just a way to make money. So if you're looking at a flat Earth map, the North Pole is going to be dead center instead of at the topmost part of the map. And instead of having a South Pole at the bottommost part of the map, Antarctica, that giant island that you would find at the South Pole, well, instead of being a giant island, it's actually understood as a giant wall of ice that goes around the circle of the Earth. The circle of the Earth. Where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, the Holy Bible. That's right, apparently a good chunk of these flat Earth conspiracy theorists are also with the camp that views the Bible to be the divinely inspired and inerrant Word of God, and they think that everything in it is 100% true. So we really shouldn't be surprised that they think the Earth is flat, since that's what their Bible teaches. The Bible was written by flat earthers. Back in antiquity, that was the common conception across all sorts of different cultures. This idea that the Earth was this relatively flat and disc-shaped object, circumimposed by the dome of heaven, both of which were perceived to be floating in a sea of primordial waters. That is, waters that existed prior to the creation of heaven and earth. Right? This is the commonly held conception of the universe across a variety of different cultures in antiquity, and we do see it perpetuated in the Bible. Okay, some religious devotees will claim that that's not the case, but they're wrong. So that's something that me and the flat earthers can actually agree on. The Bible does teach that the Earth is flat. Something I disagree with the flat earthers on is this concept that the Bible is the divinely inspired and inerrant Word of God and everything in it is 100% true. Okay, the Bible has contradictions in it. It's really easy to find the first ones right there in the first two chapters. Okay, it has contradictions. It has a talking snake. It has a talking donkey, talking trees. There's all sorts of crazy, miraculous, fantastic things that we never see in reality. People might claim every now and then that they see something like that, but if you're a science-minded individual, like myself, then you're going to want those people to have pretty compelling evidence to substantiate those claims, or else it's going to be pretty hard to believe them. So apart from flat earthers citing Bible passages at people to provide evidence that the Earth is flat, one of the first things I came across when I started researching this subject matter, looking into why is it that people, think the Earth is flat, what do they perceive as evidence that the Earth is flat? One of the first things I came across was this guy who was saying, here, I'll show you, if the Earth is round, okay, then the people on the underside of the Earth, this is what this guy is saying, the people on the underside of the Earth will fall down, right? That's what would happen if the Earth is round, right? Let me get some static electricity going on here, right? Got a Trident wrapper. Check this out. Okay. Obviously, it's not that simple. People on the underside don't necessarily fall down. So, what's up? What's down? That's all relative. What's keeping humanity glued to the Earth is gravity. And gravity is not just something made up by Isaac Newton, right? The laws of Newton, the reason we call them laws is because of how well tested they are, all right? I'll just give you an example. This is William Herschel, the guy who discovered the planet Uranus. Just kind of came upon it while he was looking through his telescope. Which, by the way, if you guys want your own telescope, you can buy one. You can look at those celestial objects yourselves, right? But yeah, anyway, this guy's just kind of looking at the sky, and he finds Uranus one day. He thought it was a comet at first, but he's like kind of noticing, curious comet doesn't really behave the same way that any good comet ought to, right? Yeah, what it came down to is he discovered the planet Uranus. And, there's this interesting experiment that you can do with Newtonian physics. You can use it on the various planets in the solar system. Worked on Mars, worked on Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, right? Basically, you can, predict where these objects are going to be at a certain time of day, okay? But when we tried to do this with Uranus, where we predicted Uranus would be, and then where it actually wound up being when looking through a telescope, the two didn't match up, okay? Something was wrong. Something was wrong. And it turned out something was wrong with the calculations. There was an extra source of gravity that was affecting the orbit of Uranus. Okay, an extra source of gravity that was unaccounted for in the math. And so, these math whizzes, they sit down, crunch some numbers, do some calculations, looking at, star charts, diagrams, that sort of thing, and they're able to figure out, okay, that spot right there. They're not even looking at it through telescopes. They're just like, doing math, looking at star charts, that sort of thing. They figure, okay, that spot right there must be where the source of gravity is. So they tell their astronomers, look in that spot right there. Turn your telescopes to that spot right there. They turn their telescopes to that spot. Bam! Planet Neptune discovered, just like that. Okay? That was Newtonian physics. Okay? That was the laws of Isaac Newton that were used to discover the planet Neptune. That shit works. So again, anyone can get their own telescope, point it at the night sky, see the celestial objects for yourself. Okay? That said, there are some flat earthers, and there's different schools of thought amongst the flat earthers. I've noticed that they'll sometimes give different rebuttals to people's arguments against the flat earth. And sometimes you'll actually see like two contradictory conceptions of the flat earth come together. It's just like, it doesn't really work. But anyway, one of the explanations that I've seen for the sun, moon, stars, and the other planets is that they're projections. They're projections onto the sky dome, right? NASA is projecting these, I guess, holographic images or something like that, projecting them onto the sky dome, right? Now, one of the ideas I've seen this mix with is the idea that, the Bible, everything in there is true. Okay, well, here's the thing. If everything in the Bible is true, it says nothing about the sun, moon, and stars being projected onto the sky dome by NASA. Okay? Right? Let's face it. The sun, moon, and stars existed long before NASA came along. Unless you're one of the groups that thinks that all of history is a lie, which that exists. Right? Yeah, it's really sad, actually. If you're one of these, if you think that the Bible, if you think everything in the Bible is 100% true, and you think the sun, moon, and stars are projections onto the sky dome, created by NASA, those two don't go together, because according to the Bible, God created the sun, moon, and stars. Okay, He's the one who put them up there, right? Makes no mention of NASA doing it. You see how this doesn't really... So, in antiquity, our first historical arguments for a spheroid Earth come from the Greek philosophers. So they were noticing things like, if you watch a ship go across the sea, you see like the bottom of the ship kind of disappear below the horizon before they see the sail disappear, right? And if the Earth was flat, you wouldn't see that. What you'd see is you'd see the ship kind of getting smaller and smaller and smaller until it disappears from view. But no, what you see is this sort of sinking effect. It looks like it's sinking below the horizon. Now, if you're actually on one of these ships, what you'd see as you're approaching land is you'd see mountaintops coming up over the horizon, and then gradually you see more of the mountain, and then more of the landmass that those mountains are on. You see the cities and stuff like that. Okay. This is footage I came across on YouTube. You can see Toronto across this giant lake, Lake Ontario, I believe. Yeah, you can see the tops of buildings poking up over the horizon. You don't see the bottoms. You don't see any of the street activity or anything like that. It's all obscured beneath the curvature of the Earth. But flat earthers, of course, have rebuttals to these kinds of points. What I've seen in this kind of situation is, if you're looking at these buildings, you can see the tops of them, right? It's been pointed out by the flat earthers, well, if these buildings are really on a curved Earth, then you should see them sort of tilting away from you, right? Now, that sounds like good logic and all, but was there an actual experiment done to arrive at that conclusion? Is this person just kind of using their own personal logic, or did they actually do an experiment to demonstrate that that is the case?
So, got a balloon, got a piece of black construction paper taped to it. What I want you guys to do is just kind of see, does it look like the construction paper is tilting as it goes over the horizon, or does it look like it's just kind of sinking? Obviously, it's going to look like it's tilting as it goes up, but we're talking about as it disappears behind the horizon. Does it look as though it's tilting, or does it look as though it's just kind of sinking?
So I felt like that experiment went pretty well. It wasn't perfect, of course. I mean, a balloon, that's nowhere close to the size of the Earth, right? If this was perceived as a building, I mean, yeah, it's obviously that's nowhere near an accurate scale comparison, which is why I actually thought about like going out and like getting this like giant ball for the experiment. But I decided just to test it out on the balloon and see if that worked out, and it did seem to work out pretty well, because it really just looked like it was sort of sinking into the horizon, right? But yeah, if you factor in the actual scales that we're dealing with, how gigantic the Earth is, if you look at pictures of the Earth from space, you can't see buildings on the Earth. Okay, you factor in those scales. It's completely asinine to suggest that you would notice a tilting effect to a building that is disappearing over the horizon.
Ramadan, you fast during the day and you get to eat at night. Okay, so it's 40 days of fasting. I think 40.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Maybe it's not, whatever the number of days, you're fasting during the day when the sun is up, and then you get to eat at night. Well, it turns out, I was recently in Dubai, where they have the tallest building in the world, and I did a quick calculation, and I confirmed it with others there, that in fact, they print separate tables for residents at the top of this building, because the sun sets later if you are at the top of that building than if you are at the base, because that building, and for you have it up there now, that's the actual tweet from the top. This building is 30% taller than what the World Trade Center was. It's crazy tall, and that's a picture I took while I was visiting Dubai. So the sun sets 2 minutes later for you at the top, because you're seeing that much farther over the Earth, curvature of the Earth. Yeah.
Well,
now, in the interest of not turning this video into a 2-hour-long documentary and moving on to other subjects I want to talk about, I'm not going to be addressing every single point that I've heard from the Flat Earthers. I really think that this video is probably sufficient enough response to that. Not that it's really the Flat Earthers I want to be responding to here. It's the people who might watch the videos that they make and start going, oh gee, that's a good point. I didn't think about it. No, it's not a good point. Okay, my final analysis of this Flat Earth Furor is that, the people who are, putting forward this, Flat Earth conspiracy theory, they're mostly coming from a religious context that views the Bible to be, the infallible word of God. It's all 100% true. And they're pissed off about the findings of science that contradict their religious beliefs. Okay? They don't like that. I've actually heard these guys go on rants about, you know, the NASA evolutionists or something like that. You know, it's just like, what the hell? But yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with other people. If you're interested in watching my future videos, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one. So have a good one, guys, and peace.